In our next session, Nayeem Islam, VP Product Management at Qualys, along with its product manager, Rijul Nirwal, will introduce Qualys TotalAI, the latest solution to help enterprises mitigate the risks posed by rapid recent adoptions of large language models. Nayeem and Rijul, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So today I'll be talking about navigating security challenges of deploying LLMs with the AI asset visibility and model scanning. And this is a very timely topic. As you know, a lot of companies are beginning to look at LLMs and to embed them in their products. So I'm giving you a slide on the agenda to really stress a couple of things. I'll talk a little bit about the product and kind of the new challenges that are emerging. And we have a fairly extensive demo. And Rijul is then going to come on stage and show you the demo and walk you through some of the really novel features that we've integrated into our product to help you navigate this complex and novel challenge. So actually, let me just do a show of hands here and ask people, how many people have already started deploying these modern LLMs, these large language models? Show of hands. So some. So how many people are not sure? It's nebulous. And the most important question, how many people would like to know what's going on in their organization with LLMs? Are you curious? Are you interested in knowing? Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because there is a tremendous amount of interest. And as you can see here, about 70% of organizations want to start deploying LLMs in the next 12 months. And I think one of the challenges that's happening is that development teams are often deploying these without letting the security team know. So there's sort of mayhem out there. And it's because people are really, really going fast in the business units trying to use LLMs effectively. Because what happened was at the end of 2020, with ChatGPT really exploding onto the scene, people really wanted to know what the underlying technology was, which is LLMs, and they wanted to embed that into their applications. You know, companies doing marketing, companies doing software development, everything. So that has led to a very significant challenge of really understanding what's going on. So security teams are getting blindsided. They really are not sure what's going on. And if they don't know, if you don't know what you have, you really can't protect yourself from threats. So there's an overlooked risk here from these hidden LLMs lurking within your infrastructure. And clearly you can't prioritize. You can't really figure out what to do. So now there are two different aspects to this. This is an evolving area. This is emerging. So I'll try to explain to you there are two ways organizations typically use LLMs today, these large language models. Your employees could be using these tools like ChatGPT. They're a consumer of it, but it's not embedded in your product. And developers could be using these for like co-pilots to help them develop software. That's pretty common these days. I mean, software development being automated by LLMs is an incredibly fast developing area. Now, I call these consumers of LLMs. Now, the second part is companies that are embedding these LLMs, like Qualys might embed an LLM chatbot to give you an assessment of the risk within your organization. These are creators of LLMs, people modifying it and embedding in their product. And in this presentation, in this session, we're going to focus on this area. You're an active user, an active developer. You're taking an existing LLM, modifying it, and deploying it for your specific needs, whatever that might be, healthcare, finance, insurance, wherever you want to customize the LLM. You've embedded it in the product, but you've still got this problem of not knowing where it is. So these LLMs pose an incremental risk. Now, the first one is, I think I've been pretty clear, is that visibility is pretty important to securing any infrastructure. So what do I have? So people right now have very low visibility into their LLMs. Part of it is that the tools that are supposed to know what an LLM is are just beginning to evolve in the security industry. But what models do I have? Where are they located? That is a really big problem today. The second thing is that if you do have these new things, so any new entity poses a risk. With LLMs, there are two different types of risks. One is the model itself, which is the intellectual property, the machinery, and then there's the data itself. So there's this new type of risk. And this creates an increased attack surface, if you will, novel ways for attackers to get into your intellectual property, take things from you, because they now have targeted things they can go after. It's that data that's being curated for LLM. It's the LLM itself, the intelligence of what it takes to write code, the intelligence of what it takes to create marketing campaigns. And that now leads me to the other point, is that this area is still evolving. And you'll see in our product, it's also pretty modern. It's picking up new ways of securing LLMs, but this will evolve. As the sophistication of the generative AI infrastructure evolves, we will evolve with it to protect you. Now, there is one perpetual problem. As all of you know, most of the organizations have many security tools. And are we going to give you yet another one? So that's kind of one of the big challenges. People have too many tools. They really want fewer integrated tools. Now, what are the consequences of this? I think I alluded to some of them, but some of them are actually fairly significant, because these LLMs are embodying significant amounts of intellectual property. In the past, you would have databases, a lot of stuff spread out, but the intelligence of actually generating content or information that's proprietary to you has just gone up, and the data that gets fed in. So that concentration leads to really a big risk of losing data and IP related to these models that are there. Anything that goes wrong now with LLMs, you've seen some press release in the news. When something happens, there are reports of you lose your model, and it could lead to reputational damage. And then finally, there's financial costs. I think that those burdens are only going to increase because of this concentration. As you can see here, this is one of the things that I think is a little different from what's happened in the past. There's much more concentration of your crown jewels in a smaller area, and people will target their efforts to get that out of you. So what I'm now going to present is what is Qualys TotalAI. This is our product that helps you manage the complexity of deploying securely LLMs within your organization. And it's broken up into a few pieces so that you can see that the challenges that I mentioned are systematically addressed by our product. So the first one is visibility. What do I have? I think if you look at some of the other products, like we have CSAM, our asset visibility product, even in Total Cloud, we are very, 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 yesterday we presented how we do inventory of the assets that you have in the cloud. You've got to know what you've got before you can protect it. So making sure that you can identify the AI assets that you have, not just the software, not just the packages, but also the hardware, and putting a boundary around it. Knowing what you have to do is absolutely critical. Then there's protecting the LLMs themselves. What's evolving now, as the complexity of LLMs is increasing, the way they can be attacked, there's a body of knowledge now, like OWASP Top 10, that you can use to determine if you're at risk. And TotalAI will guide you through that process to make sure there is no data leak, things can't be jailbroken. And in the demo, there will be some very interesting things that Rijul will show you of things that could happen and how we might be able to protect you from them. Very interesting sort of new ways of doing things, new ways that attackers are going to try to poke you, but there are ways that you can keep yourself safe. This is quite interesting now. You're all very familiar with vulnerability management. We have categorized about 1,000 plus vulnerabilities that are specific to AI, LLM and AI together. And we will be able to create that, that report for you that will able to coalesce all of your AI assets in one place so you can report it to management. And the other thing that's also going to happen with this is that not only will you be generating reports, but these compliance standards will be evolving to make sure that you're not exposed to LLMs being improperly deployed. And we will be able to help you with that as well. So in the totality, TotalAI helps you go through the visibility part, assessment of the LLMs, proactive scanning to make sure that you can go through and make sure that you can scan all the known vulnerabilities for AI and patch them, and then also create reports that you can use for reporting within your organization. And finally, we leverage existing Qualys agents and scanners. So this is important because when you look at the demo that we'll give to you, there's an integrated view of risk here. It's not going to be spread throughout. And you'll see that in my next slide too when I talk about how we integrate with the ROC, which Sumedh talked about, the enterprise true risk management. How do we integrate into that? So it's all coming together, not this fragmented world of silos, people running willy-nilly and giving you another tool. We're bringing it together. We're going to give you common languages, common tools to address this emerging problem that might sound a little novel, but we are here to help you put the wraps around this. So yesterday, there was a lot of talk about the Risk Operations Center. And the Risk Operations Center is, our implementation is the Enterprise True Risk Platform that takes data from a variety of different sources. What I'm showing here is that even the AI stuff that we scan for will be part of the Enterprise True Risk system. And within that, it'll be all brought together for one comprehensive view of risk, and AI will be part of it. It won't be left out. And what that means is that through the ROC, you will be able to drive decisions to reduce risk, figuring out what's important, and then patching, and then reducing the risk within your organization. There is one thing that's quite interesting here. When I was asking about, LLM deployments, et cetera, there is a statistic that we found is that 71% of IT leaders are concerned about vulnerabilities in AI. So this is not, a few months ago it was just coming. Now it's a problem. And it's so, the explosion of what the deployments are so fast that 71% is a pretty large number. So this is something that we hope as you start looking at deploying LLMs, you think through the issues, and the tools that we're providing from Qualys will help you make informed decisions on how to reduce your risk. Now, let me just go through again some of the value that we provide and the outcomes that you can expect from our tool. So first of all, enhanced visibility, knowing all of your security assets, proactive scanning, something that you're all familiar with. Now you can scan proactively for known AI vulnerabilities, making sure that you have proper hygiene for AI, something that wasn't there before. And by the way, this is all using our our backend for vulnerability management, the Six Sigma highly accurate mechanism that we've developed that many of you use already is going to be able to discriminate and find your AI threats. So that's the novelty here. And of course, making sure that you don't suffer compliance loss, that you don't have to have any fines because you're not compliant with all the standards that are required to scan, require you to do the proper hygiene to make sure that you're not at risk. And then finally, prioritization. Making sure that you can prioritize based on true risk, not just your regular infrastructure, but also your AI infrastructure. And I just wanted to point out that what's really interesting here is that we've taken some of our existing technologies, but we've added this additional view on LLMs, not just the scanning piece, not just the asset visibility, but also like the OWASP top 10 to make sure that the LLMs themselves are not being prone to security risks and that we can help you manage that. So all in all, I would say that as you're approaching this problem, as you look forward, you have to be very careful and look at the assets that you have and systematically make sure that you scan and keep your hygiene clean. This is a really, really important thing. And the tool that we're going to show you, demo pretty soon, you'll see that it's integrated. If you've seen the common Qualys dashboard, this is a natural extension of that. Just gives you a view of your AI assets. So nothing that's complex, but easy to use. And that's really critical here. Because some of the things that we're seeing is that people, when they hear the word LLM, they get really scared. There's really nothing to be afraid of. With good tools, integrated systems, things that you're familiar with, you can really control what's going on in your enterprise and make sure that you can deploy these carefully. So that's all I have to say about the product. We're going to give you a demo now. Rijul is going to come up now and show you, and it's pretty exciting. He'll show you some jailbreaks and how we can prevent that, and how the dashboard overall looks in terms of how we coalesce and collect inventory AI assets. So Rijul, please come on up. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Naeem. Good morning, everyone. Can we switch back to the slide, please, for a second? Yeah. So before I begin this demo, let me first share what I'm going to cover here in this session. In today's world, AI is no longer an emerging technology. It's becoming a core part of many of your business operations. And as we race to build and scale these applications, we're not just scaling innovation, we're also scaling risk. With each model, with each app, your attack surface is increasing at a faster pace than ever before. And hence, the first challenge that comes with it is understanding and getting visibility in your AI ecosystem. Once you've got that visibility, the second challenge is to prioritize and fix vulnerabilities over them. And then the final piece is this model risk, this new risk around large language models. So now let's see how TotalAI can help you with these challenges. Can we go back to the demo, please? Thank you. So this is our TotalAI dashboard. If you guys look at the top, we provide you with a count of assets, hardware, and software that is related to AI and that is present on your ecosystem. If you go in this AI asset tab, we give you a comprehensive list of all the assets that have AI fingerprint and that are present in your ecosystem. But what is this fingerprint we're talking about? Let's take an example of this first asset. If you look at this asset, here we found infrastructure like GPUs. We found softwares and packages associated with AI and ML. And we also found files related to models. And using these signals, we assigned it a confidence score of high. Now, using this confidence score and true risk, you can prioritize and look at the most riskiest asset that have AI fingerprint and that are present in your ecosystem. See, the list became much more manageable now. And this brings me to the second challenge, the vulnerabilities. So one way of doing it is just go into the asset and fix any vulnerability that you have with just by one click. Or you can go broad and look at all the vulnerabilities in your AI ecosystem through our vulnerabilities tab and fix it from here. But we provide you with a better way of doing this thing. On the TotalAI dashboard, we provide you with top 10 vulnerabilities which are present in your ecosystem that are trending in the wild and that need your utmost attention. And see, now just by fixing few of these, you can drastically reduce the true risk score of your AI ecosystem. And this brings me to the third challenge, these large language models. They are extremely vulnerable piece of technology. Just by crafting prompts and inferencing your large language model service, an intruder can extract sensitive data from your application. And there's also another risk to it. These models have a tendency to spit out information that is not safe or answer on topics that are again very risky and it should not answer. And this can actually put a dent on your brand reputation if some customer is interacting with such an application. And just to crystallize this point and to make it clear, let me go to another demo. Let me show a live chatbot attack. So we're going to ask this chatbot a question that is unsafe. We are asking it how to create someone's deepfake voice. And the model won't answer it, right? And it did not. If you'll nudge it, again, it will not answer. But if you use a jailbreak prompt and embed your question within it, it will break. It will give you all the information how to create someone's deepfake. And imagine if someone is interacting with such a chatbot of your company, what would be the outcome of that? So let me show you how we solve this risk. If you go to the Models tab, you'll see a list of all the models that we have onboarded. And for this demo, let me onboard the same model powering our chatbot application. And just by a few clicks, we can onboard it and test it for risk associated with models. Now, if you go into this model and go to details, you'll get a summary of what the model does and what are the top risks associated with it. But if you go to detections, we test your model against 16 risk categories and more than 20 plus jailbreak and prompt injection techniques. And we know that this is all confusing, so we translate all of these risk signals into one unified risk score, the true risk score of the model. And let's circle back to that chatbot. Let's see how we solve that risk. If you go to the same jailbreak attack, you can see that the model failed on the same question. And we test your model with multiple unsafe questions as well as, okay, that's scary. And we, okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe. That's scary. Okay, yeah. So we test multiple such questions with multiple jailbreak techniques and also provide you with remediation recommendations. And let's see if we apply these techniques, can we jailbreak the model again? See, again, we started inferring it the same prompts. We ask it how to create a deepfake. It won't answer, as we saw previously. But now, if we again try the jailbreak, see, it did not answer. Now, this brings me to the end of my demo. Can we switch back to the slides, please? So I want to conclude this demo with 3 takeaways. With TotalAI, you can, number 1, discover all your assets that have AI fingerprint. Second is, you can harden infrastructure and fix vulnerabilities over it. And you can de-risk this new risk of models. And that's it from my side, everyone. You can sign up for TotalAI today. I wish you guys have amazing time here at QSC and safe travels. Thank you.